Welcome back to the next edition of AFL Timeline History. And guys, the time has come for us to get some Stokes in our life. What's going on, Stokes?
Hello. Finally, the era.
Well, let's talk about the situation that led to Stokes coming in to AFL in Season 4, because it wasn't at the beginning of Season 4. Stokes took over the Kansas City Chiefs, who were previously owned by SJR. So let's get into the situation that led to SJR being booted from AFL. So here was the situation. Bowser was the San Diego Chargers. Call of Duty came out in October-ish, November-ish, and Bowser pretty much lost all interest in Madden. So, like idiots, we decided to give Big Dog, I know you guys know that name from previous shows, a chance to run the Chargers. Big Dog was a nice guy. He was a good guy. He was just a terrible commissioner that left all of us hanging. He actually wasn't a terrible commissioner. He just left us all hanging. And one of the guys that was really hurt by that was SJR. And putting him in SJR's division was just a recipe for disaster. I should have seen it coming, but Big Dog beat SJR by a field goal. He was trying to kick the game-winning field goal as time ran out. We had a rule where you couldn't block field goals, and SJR kept running off sides trying to block it, got the game disconnected, and Big Dog was like, yeah, he quit. And I don't know if the game ended up being a tie or what, but because it was tied, Big Dog was going to kick the game-winning field goal, and he kept running off sides, and that was a story there. And at this point in time, SJR was going through some stuff. He was trying to buy a house, so that's super stressful. Anybody who's been through that knows how stressful that is. I think he was working a couple jobs at that point in time. He just did not like Big Dog, and it's not anything that I disagree with. Big Dog left us hanging, and a lot of guys put a lot of time into Madden, and to have somebody just up and leave with no warning, it sucks. And I think that put SJR pretty close to the edge. And then there was a situation where, like, a couple days later, SJR was the Chiefs and Stop Cheese was the Redskins. And SJR traded Jake Locker, who was his quarterback at the time, to the Redskins. And then he had, like, seller's remorse and deleted the trade from the trade boards. Maybe I don't remember the details in full. SJR said he might want to get on and talk to us about that. We'll see if we can get some interview time with him to throw this in the video when it's posted. But anyway, he tried to delete the trade, and Cheese called him out on it. And in the span of a couple days, it was just a situation where it was like, man, it seems like your head's not really in this. And we decided to boot SJR. And at the time, SJR was the guy that, he'd helped us build AFL. He was paying for the XFN site. So there was we had to reimburse him for that just to keep it live. And, it sucked. You hated to see it happen because he was one of our best owners, but it just seemed like it was time from our standpoint. I know he has a side of the story. I don't really truthfully remember too much from it, but the good thing that came from booting SJR, was we got Stokes to come over and take over the Kansas City Chiefs mid-season. Now, Stokes, what, if anything, do you remember about how you found yourself in AFL?
It started because Han and I were in another league together, and one day he came to me and said, hey, Stokes, I have this league I want you to join. I've won 3 straight Super Bowls, and they told me to find some competition, and I thought of you. So he brought me to the league. He brought me to the league to stop his reign, and he was successful.
So Stokes comes in to be the kryptonite to Han's Superman, and ironically enough, you find yourself in Han's division. You take over the Kansas City Chiefs, and you took over mid-season. I think Han probably won. I think he won a regular season game. You actually lost a couple regular season games along the way in whatever games SJR had lost before he left. So you went to the playoffs as a wild card. You smashed Goof Steelers, and that set up an epic second-round matchup between Han's Raiders and your Chiefs. And the first thing we noticed that we loved about Stokes was he streamed all of his playoff games. So we all watched it as the 3-time Super Bowl champion Oakland Raiders at home in the divisional round went down and lost to the Chiefs. And nothing against Han, we were all celebrating that one because nobody wants to be in a league where one guy dominates. So we were all happy that the new guy came in and took down Han. And then you went on to smash Westside Charles in the conference championship game, which set up a Super Bowl matchup against Hadley's Bucks. This was the third Super Bowl in 4 seasons Hadley made it to. And right before the game started, Hadley announced in chat that this was going to be his last game, win or lose, because he had some stuff going on college-wise. And Hadley took down Ridge in the conference championship game to get to the bowl to play Stokes. Stokes, you went on, won a Super Bowl. I'm guessing to you at this point in time, not really knowing what AFL was or much about it, it probably wasn't that big of a deal to you.
Honestly, I suppose you could say that. I was the most important game for me was beating Han because obviously he was the most guy I knew most in the league. So that was most important. But I was very happy to win a Super Bowl, and of course, had I known what AFL would have become or what was going to become, I would have been a lot more excited for sure.
Well, at this point in time, Hadley goes off into the sunset, and 3 out of 4 trips to the Super Bowls, guys, he doesn't win any of them. But what do you think about that, Magic? How is that run defined by you? Is it one of the better runs in AFL history, or is it really not because he didn't come away with any trophies?
Listen, man, if I would be impressed by this, I would be a Bills fan, okay?
Oh, this guy.
It's a fair comparison, though, even though it's right at the heartstrings.
No, it is impressive. I mean, he had to keep going through Ridge. Swag was in the NFC. Who else was out there?
Cheesin, he beat Cheesin in the divisional round.
Yeah, I mean, Cheese and Bailey when we weren't. I mean, Bailey hadn't won a bowl yet, so Bailey was still just a guy that was a consistent playoff team, but not someone that you look at as upper echelon. But I mean, he had to go through good people, and he kept getting there, and he kept getting there. So it is impressive. I just had to take a little jab at you guys because you put
Are there any other people who have gone 3 out of 4 years? I mean, we have to look at a couple things, but I don't know if there's many more people who have done that.
That's a good question. I don't know if anybody's gone 3 out of 4 and maybe even won a couple along the way. I don't think so. We'd have to go back and look, like you said. I know I went back to back these last couple. I won one, Stokes, and then I lost one. But that's a different show. We'll get to that down the line. I would like to point out that, as mentioned in season 1, my dad took over the Redskins. My Patriots actually lost this playoff game to West. In season 2, we lost to West in a head-to-head game. This game, I actually let the computer play it for me because I was away. My dad was not getting any better, and I'd been away for most of the season. In my heart, I ended up winning the division and getting a bye anyway, despite having a few games simmed or force lost or whatever. But I just wasn't into it, and I didn't even feel connected to my team because I wasn't around. And I was just like, guys, just play the playoffs without me. I don't even feel like I deserve to be in here because I haven't been playing my games. So West got me, and then he got beat by Stokes, which is probably good because I probably got beat by Stokes. So sorry, West. And then Stokes goes on to beat the Bucks. So that is a look at Super Bowl VII. Stokes wins in his AFL debut. He does
well, I went to 3 straight Super Bowls.
Did you?
Yes.
Put it out there.
Now that I think about it. I mean, the next 3.
You did. That's right. We'll talk about... Oh, my God.
God, Stokes, you're the worst.
Oh, my. We've got it all covered on this show. We have left no stone unturned except for that one. Wow.
Asking questions, he knows the answers to.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I was too busy polishing
Don't pull a muscle, pat yourself on the thumbs.
I was just too busy polishing my Madden 16 Super Bowl ring to catch that one.
Yeah.
So Stokes also wins the Super Bowl in his very first year in Madden, something that Han had done and Rich had done. So good group to be in. Stokes takes down his arch nemesis and AFL's arch nemesis in Han, goes 1 for 1 in winning Super Bowls, and we send Hadley off to the sunset with a 3rd Super Bowl loss. That is a look at Super Bowl VII and AFL Madden 12 season number 4. We'll see you next time.